Hello, I hope you have had an incredible week. You're going to see we've had a significant amount of rain. I think it has been raining since I spoke to you last. The timing was impeccable. We just got through doing so much planting. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a little while, you've been following along no doubt with all the planting over the last couple of weeks. So the rain was such great timing. Everything just got consistent rain, little bursts of sun. So everything in the garden is looking very happy. And I thought what we might do today is have a cottage garden tour. I haven't really had a chance to come out here very much, and so I thought we could have a little wander around together and I could give you some updates on the things we've been planting and kind of what's just happening in the cottage garden. One thing I did want to show you first up was my snack capsicums are coming back, and I don't know if you can kind of see in here. See? I've got little tiny capsicums starting. I've got them on that one, and then on this one here as well. This one's struggling a little bit more. I need to maybe spray it. I think there's like an insect on this one. But this one here is doing really well. The sage that got quite the significant prune back is coming back, as you can see here. And the lemon balm, I had lemon balm and green tea this morning at breakfast. The oriental lace cap hydrangea has got all of her buds coming through. You can see more all through there. And this is kind of a look at her blooms. She has the most interesting flowers, where you get sort of the larger blooms around the outside, and then if I get real close, you've got the larger blooms around the outside and then all the little tiny blooms in the middle. Isn't that so interesting? Such a unique flower head. Everything here is coming along nice. We've got a little bloom there starting in the pink, and the impatiens are doing so well. The white and the pink mix here are looking really nice. Hydrangeas, all the hydrangeas in this bed are looking good. Maybe let's head down to the orchard next. The temple bells. Look at all of her little buds. In spring, she is covered in white bell-shaped flowers, thus the name temple bells. All of the citrus, so we've got navel orange, a lemon, a seedless mandarin, and a navel orange just down here, all doing really well. We're getting close to a year of the orchard space being in place, and so all of the citrus trees and the peach tree have been down here for a year now, so they've had that time to really settle in. So I'm going to be very curious to see spring and whether we get a really good crop of blooms and then we get some fruit set in the coming months. But everything is looking really nice. I don't know, you may not remember this, but we've got a hydrangea here, and then we've got this here. So that is a cascade lily pilly, and it has actually been moved from next year. We'll go down there in a moment and I'll show you. Climbing Banksia roses and looking really nice. This is a peach tree. I should say all of the fruit trees, the citrus, the mandarin, lemon and the peach tree are all dwarf peach tree. Are all dwarf fruit. So they get around 1 to 2 meters, but that's about it. So it just kind of suits the orchard space here. It's a very, very tiny little sort of micro orchard, but everything has been doing so well. Peach tree, as I was saying, is starting to lose her leaves for the winter. So I am in Australia and we're actually heading into winter. The cut flower garden that we planted up, was it last week or the week before? I can't remember. Been a lot happening this week. But it is looking so good. You can see this flower is done, but look at this dahlia. She's just opened up so beautifully. Isn't that gorgeous? Gosh, the colour on that is absolutely sensational. And then all of the flower seedlings, you can kind of see here, this back row, all of those ones are coming up. I've also got a few so these ones here are flowers as well, but there's a few little seedlings coming up there. You can see like here and here, and then even here the carnations along the front row are coming up. So there's going to be so much fun in the coming months to have the cut flower sort of space full again with blooms that I can cut. Navel orange. A fairly new navel orange, which is why it's so small. We've got the 2 blueberries are looking really nice. This is where the Cascade Lily Pilly was. So I had 2 here, but it was really blocking the airflow from the berries. So it got relocated over to the other side, and I'm sure it is all going to be much happier in this corner. But the blueberries are looking really nice. They always lose a few leaves here. I'm in southeast Queensland, so we actually don't get really cold weather. So while I'll get a little bit of leaf fall for the winter, I don't get a lot. The Atherton raspberry is looking absolutely lush and happy. Hopefully I'll get some blooms at the beginning of summer. I imagine spring I'll start to see flowers and then fruit probably from maybe October, November. But I don't know if you remember, I actually unboxed this with you. It was a plant that I bought online from a nursery not too far away from here, but it came and it was just this little tiny sort of stick almost, and it's done so well, as you can see. But they can be quite invasive, the raspberries, and can really take over a space, and that is why I have popped it in a pot, because I don't want to lose the orchard to a raspberry bush. And this particular one is an Australian native raspberry, so it is suited to my climate, but it's similar to the European raspberry. It does have little sort of thorns in that. So I definitely didn't want it to get unruly and have to do a lot of trimming back in that. This is yet to recover from the pumpkin fiasco, and honestly I just don't know if it will. It really just took a hit with the pumpkins, so that might have to come out and I might have to find something else for this space. The pineapple that we planted up is looking really nice there. I'm sure it has loved all of the rain to get settled. Little lizard, can you see the little lizard on the rock? trying to capture any sun he can, I'm sure. I'd say since the last time I spoke to you, I think it has rained literally every day. And even if it didn't rain all day, we definitely got rain. Hydrangea's looking really great. And I'm pleased to say everything that we have planted up in the kitchen garden is doing so well. Spring onions, I ate a few of those this morning in my omelette. I wanted to show you. So we've got spring onions here, new little seedlings. Look at my garlic. That was the garlic that we propagated. And then we also planted another one in here. The last garlic inside is actually ready to plant out, so we might try and do that today as well. Just get it in, and then all the garlic will be in. The runner beans have grown so much. I'm sort of having to watch them every day and make sure that they're going to curl around the pole. They put on so much growth. These were the purple rain climbing bean, I'm pretty sure. Leeks are looking nice. Salvia is still attracting all the bees, which is lovely. You can see one on there now, even amongst the rain showers. Also ate my spinach this morning. Rosemary is getting to the end of her flowering. Probably need to give this a really good prune back. And look at how much the tomatoes have grown. Do you remember when we planted them? They were just little tiny seedlings, but they've already grown so much. Hopefully I'll be harvesting tomatoes very soon. And then, I don't know if you can kind of make out little tiny green sprigs there, are brown onions. Kale is doing so well. I actually think I might start eating it a little bit. I'm so surprised it hasn't been eaten yet by an insect, but it's looking lush. The capsicum and the eggplant are both surprisingly doing well. They were a bit of an experiment for this time of year. Normally capsicums and eggplants don't like the colder weather, but given that I don't get cold, I thought I might give them a try at this time of year. We've got all the little beetroots through here, and then I've got this bean here. He keeps attaching himself to the... There we go. I'm sort of just trying to keep up with, curling it around the pole here. But they are doing really well, and we're getting a lot of growth. Pineapple there, and that little one down there is doing well. Gaura. All the salvia in this bed, attracting all the bees. I don't know if the sound comes across. The constant buzzing. cannot believe how much this one has grown. And look, we've got a little rose bush back here randomly. And she gets these stunning yellow flowers. And then look, there's a little orange one back there. And then the peace baby. I've got these big blooms. Gosh, the bees on the salvia. Can't believe how well this little section has filled in. We planted this all up together, and these blooms, I thought that they would be quite sparse, but they have filled out and they look so beautiful. They've been flowering for months. So I imagine in the coming weeks they'll stop flowering as the temperatures drop, and they could probably use with a good prune back. I think they're like Angelina, I think the name of them is. This pot here and the one behind is the ginger and turmeric, and I'd say by looking at that we've only got a couple more weeks to go and they'll be ready for harvest. It's always so nice having homegrown and sort of fresh ginger in the house. I'm sure when we get to that I'll do it with you. We'll harvest them up and then prep and store them. I've got a bit of a process now, which is great. We've sort of been doing the ginger and turmeric for, I'd say, maybe 3 years now. So it's definitely been a while. We'll just head up the wisteria walkway here. The adoptive beehive is busy, as always, in between the rain showers. You can see them going in and out. These are Australian native stingless bees. And so I adopted this hive, gosh, years ago now, but it's been in here in the garden. It just lives here. I don't harvest honey or anything like that from it, but it just helps to have the bees here happy in the cottage garden, and they pollinate everything. We've got quite the sunny rainy day, so all the water features are silent today. They are solar water features, so that is why with the cloud cover they're not on. I thought I would just take you up here and show you the 2 pineapples that we planted up last week. Again, all that rain in the last week has just been so incredible for them and getting them all settled in. The purple butterfly bush is this one here. That's also looking really happy, which I'm pleased about. That is a hydrangea there. This area's always been a really difficult space to sort of fill in. Look at how pretty this looks. So this is Rose Corner here. Look at all the roses. Gosh, they look pretty. It doesn't come across. The magic, it does not come across on camera. But you're certainly getting a little sort of taste of it there. Oh, so beautiful. I thought I would show you, maybe I'll come this side, that might be a better view. How is this succulent going? How cool is that? It's doing so well here. Just a random planting that has really taken off. I couldn't tell you what variety of succulent it is, but it is a very interesting one. Unfortunately, this rose is the Sweet Laguna, and she has suffered a little bit with black spot towards the sort of bottom here. We've had a lot of rain and there's been a bit of humidity around, and I think it has just caused, yeah, a black spot. So I will have to think about a bit of a treatment for her. All of these, you've probably, as we've been walking around, you've no doubt seen, I'm trying to think of what they're called. Oh, it's going to bug me. I'll put the name on screen. I can't think of it now. But they basically just self-seed all throughout my garden, so none of them are planted anymore. I think might have planted one like 5 years ago, and it didn't do very well, surprisingly. And then since then, they have just been popping up everywhere, and I get this colorway, but I also get the really red as well. I'll find one and I'll show it to you. But the Cinderella rose is going really well. So that's the one that's sort of up this wall here. She is going to look magnificent when she is in bloom. And all the mini roses. I've got buds coming out. You've got your ground cover roses here, and the pink and the white. And then my only multicolored rose. So I sort of call them like a sunset rose because of the colours. Look at that little cluster there. So let me find one of these to show you. So that is sort of the green with the sort of red pink leaf structure. It's so vibrant. It's almost like a lime green. But they are unbelievably prolific in my garden. So I've got those, and you can see like there's another one there just popping up. Got them all through here popping up. There's a big batch here that has just been pruned back to make way for the beehive. Here we go. So, like this one here. So this is the other colour that I get. It is so beautiful. The detail on those leaves and the colour. But yeah, they just sort of pop up everywhere. I thought we'd come down the potting shed side. This is where I've planted one of the purple dwarf peace babies. This little sort of mini one. I did have a hydrangea in here that struggled. So I've taken that out and I'm trying to nurse it back to health. But in the meantime, I've popped that in here. This statue is looking really sweet with the hanging plant. All the grasses always do really well out this sort of, it's such a difficult space in my garden. Doesn't get a heap of sun. Gets some sun but not a lot. And then we have all of these here. I have 2 of these big climbing plants and they are currently in flower, which is beautiful. They can be quite unruly. So I've got this one here, and then I've got another one just on the other side here. But one of the things I absolutely love about them is the branches. I just find there is something so romantic about branches that do this. I think they are beautiful. The way they've just twisted around the structure. It's like the architecture of it. When they do that is just stunning. It makes me very happy every time I look out. But otherwise, everything is looking pretty tidy and clean down this end. I've got a few more plants to go in, but only, what are we looking at? So my little potting table here, I've got 3 more plants, and I know where they're going. I'm just waiting for that space to become available. So they're just living in this tray here, and I just top up the water in between. I've got these butterfly bush. So I mentioned earlier I had a purple one. I've got a purple and a white out in the back cottage garden, and this pink one is going to go out the front. And you can see full sun, butterfly attracting. They get these beautiful cone-shaped blooms. So hopefully we will get a magical display next year. Alright, it's just starting to sprinkle, so I've just got a little trowel out, and I really want to get that last garlic in. So I think before I sort of say goodbye to you today, let's plant up. Oh, look at the little butterfly. You can just see him on the side there. Maybe we'll, can you see? Butterfly or moth, I'm not sure. But yes, let's plant up this little last garlic. You have been with me throughout all of the propagating of the garlic and the whole experiment. So I'm pretty sure I planted the other one about here. We've got this one here, so I might just dig a little hole here. Mr. Worm. Oh, it's starting to rain. Okay. I'll be back in a moment. I'm gonna go get the garlic. Alright, we've got a little shower coming through, which is basically what it's been doing weather-wise for the week. And this is the last little garlic that we propagated together. You can see now, he was a little bit behind the other ones, but he's got a good root system now. So, I've got my hole. I'm just gonna pop him in like that. And then I'm just gonna cover, I'll straighten him up a little bit. There we go. And then I'm just gonna cover him over. Like so. And so now he's going to get rained on and get a good drink from the rain. Well, I hope you just enjoyed basically coming on a little meander around the cottage garden with me. I do like to try and do that whenever I can and just enjoy a lovely slow walk around, take in everything that's new. When you've got a garden like this, there is always something new blooming, new growth. Something has always changed, which is so wonderful. And so I really hope you enjoyed spending that time with me. I appreciate that it is probably a bit of a slower video today and maybe not as long as what it normally would be, but we have some truly exciting things coming up. So I am very, very hopeful that you will subscribe and kind of join me here every Wednesday for all the little, adventures and the things we kind of get up to together, the learnings that we have, the experiences that we have. But as I've said, I hope you enjoyed this little wander around and you enjoyed getting the last little garlic popped in. And I'm going to bid you farewell. I will see you next Wednesday for another new video. Bye.